I was having a training with a client, and the title of the particular training was Stress Management for High Burnout Professions. Stress Management for High Burnout Professions. It was amazing to just simply put in perspective that these are everyday people no matter what role they're in. And it's everyday people that go through something. And so through the course of the training, right, we're talking about burnout, we're talking about stress management, we're talking about putting boundaries in place. But it was virtual. And so I'm looking at the chat, right? I'm seeing all of the commentary. I'm seeing all of the feedback. I'm seeing all of the questions pour in. But there were a few questions that truly stood out to me. And it was a defining moment for me, right? It was something that I knew, but to see it in black and white, I was like, like this is real. And some of the questions and comments were, how do I deal with the trauma that I've dealt with in my past or current state and now not allow it to impact the work that I do today? And the reason that question stood out for me, and it wasn't just one person, it was a few folks. But the reason it stood out for me is because it takes me back to why I do what I do, why I do the work that I do. Trauma-informed, emotional wellness. And no matter what space you're in, whether it's corporate, whether it's everyday living, right? Just your day-to-day, there are people that are suffering in silence. There are people that, kind of pull up every day and they're like, I got a job to do and I'm gonna get it done. And I'm not gonna show my vulnerable side, and I'm not gonna showcase that I'm going through something, and I'm not gonna show that I'm hurting today because I need to be on my A game at all times. But do you? Because what's happening is you are finding that you can't compartmentalize it anymore. You are finding that it is impacting how you move, how you work in some manner, whether you admit that or not. And so it was so just eye-opening because these are everyday people at the end of the day. And no matter how you try and say they're an executive, they're corporate, right? They're senior leadership. No matter what the title looks up, you can dress it up as pretty as you want to. We are everyday people that go through everyday things. And we are people that suffer. But I want to challenge you not to suffer in silence. Right? I want to challenge you to stop compartmentalizing it. I want to challenge you to walk in that vulnerable lane. And I want to challenge you to talk about it and to say it louder and to be okay with it. Because when you start to talk about it, right? When you start to say yes to you, and when you start to forgive yourself, right? You start to really reimagine and reinvent yourselves to a different place and a different level and a different being overall. And so I wanted to just really share that through that training, it was just truly eye-opening, because even me, sometimes I'm like, okay, who am I reaching? Right? Who am I reaching? But I'm reaching everyday women, corporate executives. I'm reaching individuals who have simply dealt with something in their lives or currently dealing with it, and they're trying to figure out how to finally say yes to themselves. And so I wanted to just come on because, again, there are so many people that are struggling with that. And reality is we all go through things. So I want to say, give yourself permission to be vulnerable. Give yourself permission to live out loud. Give yourself permission to say, today is just simply not a good day. Today is a day that I'm struggling. And give yourself permission to say that.